Hello there everyone, my name is Lacey. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't been here already, I talk about the way I see the world around me, the way I perceive the world around me, the things I do in life, all of that kind of stuff. Just whatever comes to mind, I film it, edit it without taking out any of the mess ups, and posting it on the internet to show everyone what, like, to let go, well, not show everyone, but to let go of the ideal of what perfection my mind sees perfection as, and to kind of just like let go of how I'm perceived and how my mind thinks about being perceived, and kind of just showing everyone that you too can just be yourself and follow your dreams and do whatever you want and have whatever you want out of life. Sorry, I'm playing my cat. I will be honest, this past week I was going through my hormones, doing all of that stuff from that time of the month. I had a friend over, and once they left, I kind of like slept for literally on and off like the whole 24 hours. And I'm slowly getting back into the swing of things, and I kind of just had this idea of making a YouTube video. I was like looking through my list of videos that came to my mind when I was at Starbucks one day. And the one that crossed my mind right now, and the one that I want to talk about, is the ideal of being delusional. I know. When you hear about manifesting, law of attraction, getting what you want, following your dreams, blah, 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 you will hear a lot of people say that it's delusional thinking. Well, one thing that helped me let go of the ideal that it's delusional, and hear me out, what I'm going to say might sound controversial. Isn't everyone kind of delusional when you think about it? Because when I look back at how I saw the world before I decided to believe that everything worked to my favor and decided to have a positive mindset, I was kind of delusional in the fact that I perceived that everything was out to get me. I was more paranoid. I thought that I didn't interact with strangers. I didn't actually enjoy talking to other people because I always just kind of had this like bad feeling about others, and I just like kind of saw the world around me as like negative. And at the end of the day, I would say that that mindset as well could have been considered delusional in its own way. So one thing that helped me like see it differently is kind of just like letting go of it doesn't matter either way. It's kind of like the idea of like you'll see people who practice the law of attraction or all of that, we'll call it woo-woo science. It's kind of like taking back the word, but when I kind of like make jokes that it's DELULU or delusional, it's kind of just like letting go of like who cares? Like even if it is delusional, who cares? And I think that honestly the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because usually that ideal that is delusional or that it's crazy isn't really what other people are saying to you, and maybe it is, but that's all everyone's perspective. It's kind of that little voice in your head that's trying to get you to go back to square one. So as I talked about before, it's like the ego, or like the little voice in your head that wants you to step on your own toes and not believe in yourself. It's kind of its way of infiltrating its ideals into like, oh, like that's crazy thinking, that's delusional, like how could you think that way, like oh my goodness, blah blah blah, it's selfish to think that way, or it's delusional to think that way, or blah blah blah. And I think that like that's that little voice in our heads like way of saying, like trying to hold you back. Because look, even if it's other people telling you that, like no matter what you do with your life, someone may not agree with what you're living, like how you're living your life or how you see the world around you. Like, sorry, my cat is so cute. Everyone perceives the world around us so differently. Like two people could live in the same home their whole life, eat the same meal every single day, do everything pretty similar, and both of them would still see the world around them differently. And I think that like when you see it that way, it's like everything in life is everyone's perception, or like how you perceive it. And when I started realizing that, it made it easier for me to change how I perceive things in the moment, because like it's not that things don't happen that are, I would say, not exactly ideal for what I'm trying to bring into reality, like the goals I'm trying to reach, or the dreams I'm trying to manifest, or whatever you want to call it. But I choose to believe in those moments that whatever those like perceived issues may be are working in my favor. Like everything always works in my favor. Like I've had, one time that really kind of like speaks to me when it comes to that everything always works in my favor tidbit was one day, long time ago, my computer was having issues, and I really just like didn't, with what my job is, I needed my computer, So I went to Best Buy, and apparently I had a warranty. And I remember being like, like everything works in my favor. It's gonna work out, because my warranty had actually expired. It had expired like a few days before, but when I went in, they decided to be like, okay, this isn't actually your issue. It's ours. So we're going to fix it anyways. And I'm like, well, it expired like, I think it was actually like a month before, but I kind of just like went in anyways and hoped that it would work out. So I went in. I was nice, kind. I didn't like say anything. And they took my computer in. They fixed it. And then they called me and they're like, hey, your computer's ready for pickup. So I'm like, it was kind of far away and I really didn't have the time to go get it. But I was just like, you know what? It's going to work out, so I'm going to go get it. And then when I got there, they look at me and they're like, ma'am, I'm so sorry, but like when your computer was on the way back from like the shipment, which it's funny because they had called me to tell me it was fixed and it was at the store. They were like, something happened and we dropped it and it's broken. And we could send it back, but if you would rather instead, we will give you a like a credit for how much your computer cost. And they didn't have exactly the computer I had in the store because it was 2 years later. So it was like a newer one. So I ended up getting the computer I have now, and I had leftover money. So I was able to get another like 3-year warranty and get a Fitbit with the money that they gave me for my computer. So I got a computer that was basically, I'm pretty sure it was the exact same, like specs and everything, and it had everything I needed. Gareth, what are you doing? So it had all the specs I needed, everything that I needed. Plus I was able to get a warranty. Plus I was able to get a Fitbit from it. But I remember when when they said like, oh my goodness, like, we're so sorry we broke this. Like, please don't be mad or upset. I remember thinking like, people were really getting mad. Like, they were actually shocked of how I responded. I was like, yeah, of course. Like, I'll take the new computer. Like, I'm not mad. And they were so worried that I would be mad. So it shows you that like some people probably have like, cause they said that they were more than happy to give me everything off my hard drive, everything of that sort. But I kind of just like let it go, because ever since I was younger, I was that weirdo that would take my phone randomly and just like delete everything on it. And I really didn't care. So I was like, you know what? It's not meant to be. Just wipe it clean. And so they did. But I remember thinking like, it was insane to me that they were so worried that I was actually going to be angry, and like their reaction was they were expecting me to yell at them, and I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, this is meant to be, I guess. Like, I didn't expect to get a new computer today, but here we go. And so that kind of reminds me of a moment when I did truly believe that like everything works in my favor. And that like whole time of my computer being away from me was not the best situation, but I kind of just like all of those actions leading up to that, I did truly believe that everything was working out, because even going to Best Buy the first time, I knew my warranty was expired. Like, I even said to them when I went there, like, I know it's expired. And they were like, oh no, like this issue that you're having is an issue that like people had been having. It was something like that where like they knew it was expired, but they were willing to still do it. And so that was like one of the first times that it was like a big deal where I realized like, oh, like when you kind of trust in the process and not like freak out, because like I did have every reason in a normal situation to freak out. Like this is my job. I really like need my computer to do my work. And luckily I did have some like older computers laying around that like it wasn't the most ideal situation to stream on. If you guys are, if you've ever streamed before, having those old computers are just not the most ideal when it comes to certain things that we're used to. You can kind of get used to the new stuff, and it's just like not ideal. But like I kind of just like trusted the process and just like went with it. And I remember like that time like was right around when I started like living in that feeling of everything always works in my favor. And I think what really helped me like let go of what that means from like everything I'm doing, especially with being a streamer or being online, was like I really had to let go of like how or why or wait, how or why or when things were going to happen, but just know what the thing I wanted was, because you don't want to like have this like, if you start like assuming that like everything works in a particular way, you kind of like step on your feet by like limiting yourself into knowing that there's all these like possibilities of how things can work out. And like sometimes when you're like putting it in a box, like put it like, if you're like, let's say you're a streamer and you assume that the goals you're going to have are only because you're a streamer. You kind of put yourself like in a box of how you could reach all of these goals that you have. And instead of realizing that the universe is abundant, and I know that ideal doesn't always like, it kind of rubs people the wrong way, but the way I see it is like, there are places even in America right now where there are lots of like, tall buildings and no trees, no whatever, but then they have like, my backyard is like full of trees and wildlife. And it's kind of like your perception of the world around you, but kind of how like the earth has like been using the abundant stuff we have. Like it's not that there is a lack of things, it's just how we're using the things around us and how we're all kind of like using the things around us. Like that's why like I'm in school for environmental science and all about like the planet and marine biology and saving the planet and all of that stuff. And it makes me like see like that the planet is abundant. The planet does want to help us. Every single day rain happens, every single day trees grow. And like those things are so happening. It's just if everyone changed, I'm not saying you have to believe the same things me I do. But if everyone changed the perspective in a way of realizing that like wanting things or following your dreams doesn't take away from others, it's how we're using the like resources that we have on this planet is what is making like the issues happen, instead of the fact that there are lots of things, like the planet does provide for us. And the reason why I mention this is because it's kind of like letting go of that ideal in your head of like wanting things takes away from other people, and that like it's okay to like believe in yourself and want things out of life, because if anything, if you get those things you want, you could use that to help the world around you. Like that's why for me, like I know what I want out of my life. Well, I'm finding that purpose, and at the same time I'm realizing that like I feel called to give back to the earth, give back to the planet, help make it a more sustainable place for everyone. Like in total, like that's what I'm doing for school. So for me, it's like when knowing what my dreams and goals are, it's very important. Well, I think for most people, it's very important for you to find, and I know it's cliche, what is your purpose? Find your purpose. But it's kind of like if you got everything you wanted, if the universe provided you with everything you ever wanted and all your dreams came true, what would you do to give back to the universe? And that's kind of like where I had decided, I already knew my whole life that I wanted to do like something to help the planet or something of the sorts, you know. I kind of even wanted to do marine biology before I got on this path of what I'm, you know, my life that I'm on now. But I just like did it. I kept just putting it off. You know, I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think whatever. And I kind of, it was when I decided to, like, you know, believe in myself and realize that my dreams could be whatever I could bring my dreams to reality, is when I decided to like follow those dreams. And I realized that it was like deeper for me. It was like what I feel as though my purpose is to help the world around me and to help others want to help the world around them, and to show how you, by believing in yourself, you can have whatever you want and more, and that like when you get everything you want and more, you can help the ones around you. And it's like this perpetuating effect, instead of like thinking that because you want things you're taking away from others, instead of realizing that maybe when you get what you want, you can help others thrive as well. You can help the world around you thrive and not just survive. And make the world around you a sustainable place, and maybe in more ways than just like the way I'm doing it. There's so many ways you can do it. But it kind of just reminds me, like, the reason why I mention this is because of the delusion aspect of what I was talking about. How it's like, if everyone around you is kind of just like perceiving the world as everything works against us, how is it any different than kind of believing that everything works in our favor? Like, to me, it's like, even if there is like a balance of the two, you see a lot where it's just one or the other, you know? So it's like, for me personally, I decided to believe that everything works in my favor, and that the things in my life, even the things that maybe aren't what I want to happen, maybe it is the universe's way of putting me on the path of what I do want. And it kind of can be delusional, and it might be DELULU sometimes, but like, who really cares, you know? Like, if it works for you, if it makes you feel great, if it makes you want to get out of bed in the morning, if it makes you want to make the world a better place, or if it makes you want to interact with others, you know, like, choosing to believe that everything works in my favor, and like that there's good in the world, makes me want to talk to others, makes me want to interact with the humans around me, instead of being afraid of them, instead of like kind of hating them, instead of like assuming that everyone has like bad intentions. It kind of makes me want to talk to people. I notice the beauty in things more. I notice the abundance in things more. And I kind of just wanted to talk about this because I feel like it's one of those like gray areas when people start like talking about like manifesting or the law of attraction or anything of that sort. Like, I've even had family members that have said to me that it's like, it is selfish. And to me, like, I know that it's not selfish in my eyes, because one of the things I want to do out of it is make the world a better place. And like, it makes me want to interact with others more. Like, the more I start seeing the world as like it works in my favor, like, I genuinely enjoy interacting with human beings, and I genuinely enjoy being around others. And yes, I need my time for myself, and I need my time to like recoup my social battery, because, you know, like, it is kind of tiring. Like, you know, I'll be in like the restaurant or Starbucks or the store, and random strangers come up to me and tell me their whole life story. Like, I'm not joking. Like, it's a normal thing for me. And I just like listen to it. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I like enjoy the fact that like when I started seeing the world as this like beautiful place, like, it kind of opened up this like, I don't know if it's this energy or this like vibe I give off, that people are like, oh, I want to tell her about myself. And I've had people literally say like, I don't know why I'm telling you these things. And I'm like, I don't either, even though I can kind of tell why. It's just like, I'm open to those interactions, and human beings want to be heard. They want to be like, even if you even if you act like you don't want to, people want other people to listen to them in some way or another. They just want to talk to someone. So when you kind of give off that vibe or energy, other people like want to do it, like they want to talk to you. Once I started being like delulu or delusional in the way that everything works in my favor and whatever, it actually made me like more outgoing. I was always very outgoing as a kid, and then like that energy changed through college and just through the way I saw the world. And then when I started changing the way I perceived the world around me, my mind really started like opening up to the fact that like people are just people and they're doing the best they can for wherever they're at. And I kind of like had to let go of like the fact that it's delusional or delulu, because like honestly, like we're all kind of delusional in our own way. If like we all see the world so differently, and none of us see the world the same. You know, like no two people, even people that have like the same mindset or they see the world like through the same perspective in a way, they still go about it differently. They still do different things. Like even me and one of my best friends, we're very similar in the aspects of like kind of how we see the world as abundant, the universe, all of that. But we both go about it in like different ways. And I think that's so beautiful. And it kind of makes me just realize that like we all see the world in different perspectives. We all perceive the world around us differently. So why not decide a way that is like positive? Like, and I think the reason why people don't choose that is because it's scary at first. It is like scary. It kind of feels like that little voice inside of you, the ego is like, oh my gosh, like it's selfish, or you're like, what does that mean about others? Like people will think you're crazy or whatever. But like at the end of the day, like kind of what this video's title is, like who cares? Like if it is crazy, if it is like whatever, like who cares? Like if it works for you, if it makes you happy, if it helps you like want to follow your dreams and your goals, like I hope that like you want to do it like because you want to do it, not because someone else or that little voice in your head tells you that it's delusional or crazy. Because at the end of the day, we're all in one way or another like just chugging along and being humans, and we're trying our best, whatever that may mean. And so to listen to someone else think you're crazy or put you down for what you believe in, like that doesn't really help you, because they don't even like, they're doing the same thing you are. They're just being a human trying to figure it out. So kind of this whole video was to help me remind myself too that like get back in your delulu era, you know, be that delulu girl that believes that everything works in your favor, and who cares, you know? Like if you're happy, if it makes you happy, if it makes you want to make the world a better place, or if it helps you just want to get out of bed or helps you follow your dreams, like do it. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that. I think my computer is dying, so I'm taking that as the time of like, it is time for this video to end. But thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you come back, follow, subscribe, like, comment, all of that jazz. I should be back to making more videos of this sort now that I'm like through that time of the month, you know, that I've talked about before. But yeah, just choose what makes you happy, no matter if that's how I live my life or how others live their life. Just choose what makes you happy for you, no matter what that may mean. And if that means you feel delusional, just do it. Just remember that we all kind of do sometimes. Like we're all just chugging along. We're all doing our best. And just a reminder, you're doing your best. You're the bee's knees. You're awesome. You're great. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.